This is the 343 podcast, episode 137. Welcome, everybody. I know it's a day later than we usually go live, but that one's on me. I was called up last minute to something yesterday, so I'm glad that all of you are here with me today. And we got a fantastic show lined up, a lot of interesting talking points, fantastic guests. I see we got a full house here. I'm ready to go to fives if you guys are. Jason, talk to me. How's things going?
I'm good. I could feel my hamstrings start tingling when you mentioned fives now, but I'm ready. I think nothing a good stretch can't fix, isn't it? Happy to be here, man.
Yeah. I'll get the foam roll out for you in a second. Don't worry. Mubin Ahmad, what's happening, my man? You ready to run on the wing again, or are you holding your position to try and secure a clean sheet?
Yeah, I don't know if I should come out of retirement for that first game, but hoping to be out on the wing.
Let's see how we go on. Look, I had a bit of gremlins in my network, so I don't know if I'm gonna be like Trevor Chalobah and get sent off before the end of the game. But Austen, Chelsea fan, welcome again. Nice to have you back.
Thank you, man. Yeah, as you
Austen, are
speak,
you
my
okay?
network's also been a bit funny. Yeah. No, all good, all good. Just like we discussed before, I have to drop off in 15 minutes, but maybe that's for the best because I can spend the next hour ranting about Chelsea. So maybe that's good.
See, even if I wanted to plan it, right? The Chelsea fan can't last a full episode. You know, it's the theme of
That's
the
true.
weeks recently, where they're always going down to 10 men, but we'll put a pin in that. And then lastly, welcome to Sportycast, welcome to 343, and welcome to episode 137, Candice. Nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's going to be quite interesting. I haven't joined the chat since this year because obviously I was in the chat last year. So it's quite interesting to join you guys again. And yeah, we're looking to a fantastic season and a fantastic football weekend.
Yeah, speaking of fantastic, I mean, your team is top of the log, so it's a good time for you to come back in. Couple of losses, though, so I'm a bit worried about your late run into the box here. But as is tradition for us, we need to do an icebreaker with you. Obviously, as it's your first time on the show, Austen can attest to that as well. A couple of the other guys, too. So I'm going to keep it simple because, like Austen said, he's going to drop off, in the first quarter of the episode. So if you had to choose one Liverpool legend to take a penalty for you with everything on the line, who would it be and why?
Stevie G. Yeah, he's been my hero since before Istanbul. I remember I was in the trick that year, and I think that just solidified why I chose that team, and I think it would definitely be Stevie G.
That's a
Just
solid
because of
choice.
not,
I see
yeah.
no crazy reactions from the guy. So definitely
Stock
a
standard. I would
solid
have,
pick.
I would have done the same. Maybe I would have gone Luis Suarez. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
agree with you.
touchy subject, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to do a quick run through of what we're going to do, obviously, with the big Chelsea Liverpool game coming up, we're going to go into that first again. We want to make the most of Austen's time. Some teams use a super sub at the end, but because we support Arsenal and Arteta likes to be different, we use our super sub early. So we do things a bit different. Then after we get through that game, just a couple of other talking points from the Premier League. Since Mubin was kind enough to join us, we have to talk about the situation at Old Trafford. And then I just want to chat a bit about some of the surprise teams in the Premier League so far and what you all have seen from some of the teams, like, spoiler alert, but I'll throw Sunderland in there as one of them. So a couple of things along those lines and a couple of other questions from the chat. If anyone's out there, I see we got a couple of viewers. So let us know if you have any questions and I can take it to the panel. But enough from me. Let's go straight in. I'm going to put Austen on the hot seat. Chelsea coming off a couple of losses, one to their feeder team, Brighton. The second one to Benfica, if I'm not mistaken. So, Austen, how are you feeling going into the game against Liverpool?
Yeah, so we beat Benfica 1-0.
My bad.
I think my friend a tweet at the beginning of the season saying that we'll cut through the Liverpool team when we do play them. Fast forward a few weeks later, it just looks like everything's in the mud. Things are getting scary. It's not even Halloween yet. So I'm looking forward to the game, but only off the fact that Alisson's injured. He always seems to just stop all the shots that we give him. And then Liverpool's last 2 results, which haven't been good, the team's looking disjointed. So I'm just hoping that could be the fact that, we could pull a result, hoping for a draw, maybe sneak in a win. But from the Chelsea side, things at the back are not looking good. We only have 2 fit defenders, centre-backs. So that's Hato, who hasn't played there at all this season. I think maybe one off. Then we have Maresca, who just came back from injury. I don't rate him at all. And then the last one is Joshua Champong, who's 19 years old, just thrown into the deep end. Had a poor game in his last Premier League. So it's not looking good. Liverpool's attack is obviously deadly. I think they can really take a run at our defense. But yeah, I'm not happy with the team at the moment. Maresca's he's shown immaturity, especially against United and then was against Brighton. Yeah, especially with those red cards. I mean, he's taken off all our wingers in the first 5 to 10 minutes against United. Against Brighton, they score one. The score's 1-1, and then he goes again and takes the wingers off. So I think it's just immaturity, trying to hold out for the result or a draw. Not what I want to see from my manager, to be honest.
Yeah, I think for me, going into the season with Chelsea, I was a bit worried about their defensive options. We spoke a bit on the podcast about their spine and just lacking that central leadership. That, like, if you go to Liverpool, for example, they have in Van Dijk, and that's something that I felt Chelsea was missing. And then when Colwell went down early, they kind of lost the little bit of seniority and experience they had in that position. But it sounds like you see some silver linings there, that you could possibly get a result against Liverpool, but it will be challenging. Candice, for you, how are you feeling going into this game? Obviously, the 2 losses in the past couple of days dampens the mood a bit.
Yeah, it's crazy because, for such a long time, people has obviously, we've been the underdogs. And when obviously you're winning, and then all of a sudden you've got 2 results that obviously didn't go your way, it's like the fan base has just gone absolutely crazy. And it's not even the hate watchers, it's the actual fans. It's the WhatsApp group that's just going crazy. And I think especially after the loss against Galatasaray. And my main concern is, when is it going to end? As an example, like, we've just had this faith that 5 players and all of a sudden they've just got a gel. It doesn't work like that. It's only been 5 weeks, and we didn't buy these players for 1 week. It's 5 years. Obviously we've got a lot of criticism from the person that was supposed to change everything. He's only 22, which is obviously Wirtz. We've known the quality. I think you guys spoke about it last season when we bought him. He's going to make the change, and it's going to take time. And it's ironic because, yes, we are top of the log, only obviously lost that 1 game. So yeah, it's still early days. I feel probably the Chelsea game is going to be very important. I think for the morale of the team in the dressing room, I think Slottage now probably feeling the pressure. And it's crazy because you would think that he'd feel the pressure last season. He didn't. We obviously won the league. But now it's criticism from everywhere. It's criticism of the fan base, from the fans. With the last Anfield game, you could see the crowd was frustrated, probably with losing ball, and obviously our passes are not flowing. But that will come. So I'm not into panic mode yet. Obviously, Alisson being injured. But then again, we also got another quality goalkeeper. And I don't think it's forever. We've got an international break, and then we'll see for the next few games what's upcoming. But I see the difference. We didn't play bad. Obviously, the ref will be refs. There's obviously calls that didn't go our way. There's calls that didn't go Arsenal's way. There's calls that didn't go Newcastle's way last weekend. So obviously, at the end of the day, we still got to defend the corners, whether it wasn't a corner. But the basics for me, I think that is what's frustrating. It's frustrating for the fans. We're just not getting the basics right, clearing the ball, passes. Obviously, Konate is a bit concerning for me, for the backline. But yeah, we've got to still be positive and see what the result can be for at Chelsea on Saturday.
Yeah, I think again, interesting point with the defense, right, for Liverpool as well, a bit thin. Like you mentioned, Konate, if he goes down, and the other youngster, 18-year-old, just had ACL reconstruction, so he's out for the season. So different to Chelsea because Chelsea obviously don't have the experience, but I think both teams are struggling a bit at the back, which could make for an interesting game for a neutral. Because if both teams just throw everything out there, we could have goals galore. And
Mm.
interesting points you make there, Candice, which we'll come back to a bit later. But just to kind of just get everyone thinking about it, and if anyone has any questions, let us know. We live in a world where everyone wants things immediately. Like this is the
Mm.
sixth or seventh game of the season, and we're talking about some teams already losing the league. We're talking about some teams already done for the season. This guy's a flop already, this manager. And it's like, guys, it's early doors, man. Like let's just take a beat here. But the interesting thing you did bring up was the morale factor, and I just want to get your views here, Austen, on this going into the break. Obviously, if you look at Liverpool, they lost 2 games, so if they lose a third or drop points, you go into the break kind of low on morale. The same with Chelsea, obviously dropping points in the league, and then just having that break and having to sit out and wait for the next game week. How important is this game? Beside the points, but how important is it to get the guys, on a good level before they head off to the international break?
Yeah, it's going to be massive, not just for confidence, but specifically for Chelsea in terms of fitness. We've played a lot of games last season. This season is stacked as well, so we're going to need all the rest that we can get, especially with our injuries. Usually when we come back from an international break, we have poor form. So I'm hoping that it's the other way around this time.
Yeah. So Austen, I know with the time you've got to drop. So if you need to drop, just jump in and tell us. But while we have you, let's just get your prediction and then we'll debate it, in your absence. So we can skin a liquor when you're gone, man, about Chelsea and how bad they are. But what's your prediction?
I think it's going to be an open game, just given both defenses. I don't think we're going to score more than one with our attack. So I'm hoping for a 1-1 draw.
So hoping that doesn't sound very convincing, and in honor of one of our OGs, Riaz, who always goes for the draw. I see you keeping his tradition alive. Mubin, I just want to make sure you're awake there. How are you feeling about this game? Obviously, as a neutral, you'd ideally want Chelsea to lose because they're closer to you. But then, you as a United supporter, I'm pretty sure you enjoy Liverpool dropping points. What's your take on the game? Do you see any team has an edge?
Yeah, look, as an OG United guy, obviously they want Liverpool to pick up any points. Sorry, Candice. But in saying that, I don't think Chelsea's displayed anything so far this season in terms of fluidity or sort of any progress from last season, and I'm quite surprised with the way things go and happen at most clubs that Maresca's still around and hasn't been shown the door. So even though Liverpool's, I wouldn't say on a slump, they obviously with all the new faces like Candice alluded to earlier, they're obviously trying to work out what are the best combinations. Guys still trying to get used to each other. I think Liverpool might just have the slight upper hand considering Chelsea's form or recent form.
Okay, fair. If I'm hearing correctly, you want Maresca out already.
I didn't say I want Maresca out. I said
he should be under pressure.
No. I said with the way things go at most clubs, but particularly the bigger clubs, that you also said it earlier that everything's sort of results driven or along those lines.
Yeah.
That he hasn't been shown the door yet. Considering his season last season as well, taking that into account. Chelsea's been run like a corporate business.
Yeah.
With Todd Boehly. So from that aspect, everything is results driven. It's bottom line. I mean, if you want to look at it in a corporate through a corporate lens.
That is what I wanted to bring in there, because like Candice said, also with Liverpool having a lot of new signings and having to get them in, that's Chelsea. Chelsea bought like a whole lot of players, so it's almost a similar type of thing there, where they're trying to get their players in. Obviously they got the star from United, Garnacho, that they're trying to get into the team. Cole Palmer's injured, so there's just that lack of being able to feel the consistent 11 or 15 guys and rotate it through, which is challenging. I mean, Jamie Gittins came across as well, so up front there's a bit of flux. We obviously got Tyreek George had to be thrown up front because João Pedro was suspended, and it's crazy times with the league. But I don't make excuses for any club. That's why you have a squad. And I always feel next man up. And if you spend that amount of money, you obviously have enough players to come in, and as tough as it may be, but they have to do it. So, Austen, anything from you there to just push back against the sentiment coming from our right wing back over there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not in the Maresca outcome. I think the sporting directors didn't give him the tools this season. It's not unusual that we think in that last season we overachieved, and we had a chance to expedite the process to get closer to the Liverpools, the Arsenals, the Cities, which is where we want to be. We're going to be challenging for the Premier League. And then the signings they brought in, I mean, they spent 80 mil on left wing depth. Garnacho's been at most okay. Gittins has been poor. He looks raw. Needs some time to adapt to the Premier League. And then the main thing is the goalkeeper and centre back department, which we haven't strengthened at all. Mike Mignon was offered for us, I think it was about 12, 14 mil, and we lost that down because he doesn't have resale value. And then we have the centre backs, where they said that we have internal solutions, and the internal solutions for Liverpool is one fit centre back, one fit senior centre back. So yeah, I believe the sporting directors, they got a new 6-year contract recently. I'm not happy with them. There's politics in Chelsea. We need another striker. I think we bought back Mark Guiu, or Mark Gay.
Yes.
And it doesn't look like he's going to play either, because we're probably going to get the guy from Strasbourg back on loan, which means that Mark Gay can't play again because he can't play for more than 2 clubs. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to the season just in terms of the overall management from the top.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts, and like I always say, because I follow the American sport, it's being operated in that way, where they're just throwing people in and out and expect the manager to make it work. But there's always chemistry issues, and I mean, I'm not making excuses for Chelsea here, but it's not easy. But like you're saying, they also don't make it easy for themselves. And I think all our teams are owned by American ownership. So Liverpool have FSG, we've got the Cronkies. United have a hybrid. They got the American in the background taking the money out, and then they got the British guy facing the music and getting all the stick. So I think all our clubs are similar in that way. But so Austen, are you still okay, or are you dropping off now? Do I have to say bye to you? Give you the red
I'll
card?
drop in about 3 minutes. So
Okay, perfect.
I'll drop in about 3
Austen's
minutes.
excited, man. The
I'm
conversation.
issuing the red card in the meantime.
Debate the tour, 10 minutes,
the
and you can just walk off the floor. That's perfect.
Just to come to the comments quickly, I see Candice has the fan tie time, giving Candice the fire emoji. So Candice, you got some love in the chat there. Liverpool, Mr. Brown, Liverpool have the solidity. I agree. They probably do have a bit more stable, and I feel like Liverpool's midfield is probably the key, where I think they have a much better midfield than Chelsea. Updates on Ekatike. Candice, do you have any news on Ekatike other than his shirt being off?
For now, it looks like he's probably could play, but probably off the bench. So there hasn't been anything. If he's ready for Chelsea, it's definitely not a hamstring. So yeah, at least it's not a hamstring pull. That's all that we know.
The last I saw as well was he's doubtful, but Deschamps called him up to the French squad. So that's something to watch. And then obviously Alisson out for 6 weeks, but the Georgian goalkeeper is solid. Liverpool find a way to get a good number 2. I mean, Keller they had for a long time, and he was a really solid backup. Jason, you're doing fantastic work on the side, but I feel like everybody wants to hear a bit from you. How you feeling about this game, Chelsea Liverpool? If both teams could lose, I know you'd be happy, but let's be realistic here. What what do you see happening in this game?
Yeah, no, I still think that Liverpool's attack would probably trounce whatever Chelsea is able to put out. Maybe we need to question whether Garnacho can slot in at right wing back. Maybe move Reece James into a back three. Um, yeah, but I think on the Chelsea side, I think it was a lot of money, but not spent correctly, as Austen alluded to. It was strengthening in incorrect areas, and you think back to the last maybe more successful European competition when they won Champions League. That spine was ridiculously good. And ever since then, they haven't been able to replace the Thiago Silvas, the Jorginhos, and then actually having a stable number 9. I'm a bit worried that Austen saying that they have to go into the market for another striker. They had Jackson, they let him go. They signed the left, they signed João Pedro. So it's like, yeah, there's just I think there has to be a certain limit where you can't just keep buying players, man. I think it hurts me because this is the first season that Arsenal was able to spend aggressively. For years, we've been told there's no money and we must sign Sterling on loan, wait for the Chelsea clearance sale. So, yeah, I think Chelsea definitely have what it takes to turn up against bigger teams. It's just whether they are going to. And this game, maybe it's favored the home team in recent years, but I think Liverpool definitely should go in there more confidently because, like you say, even with Alisson not there, Mamadashvili is still an exceptionally good goalkeeper. He was very well sought after before Liverpool acquired him. So, yeah, I think it should be fine. It just depends on whether Garnacho's at the back there can do anything funny. If that happens, I think Chelsea will always have a game. But, I mean, yeah, I think Liverpool might be too strong for them.
Yeah, I hear you there. And I just want to bring Candice back in here because I saw AF commenting about the right back spot. So what's your take on what's been happening on the right? So Frimpong has played there for a few games. You've seen Bradley there. You've seen Soboslai there as well. What do you think is the way forward with Liverpool's right back situation?
I think the chopping and changing obviously is not working. We had, I think, Frimpong played last week. It's just, I don't think he is the right person to bring it forward because obviously, I think in the first game with what Isak played, he didn't get ball as an example. So obviously, people were going out for him because obviously the team were mostly focusing on the left and focusing on the right, but nothing was coming through the front. So I don't think that we found the hit yet of who is the person to play at right back. It's the chopping and the changing, the same with the midfield. I didn't even know what system works. After the last game, they were saying, no, we must go back to Klopp way. I'm like, but that's not the Klopp way. Unfortunately, it's now the way of Liverpool. So, we're still not there yet. So I can't say that whoever needs to be at the right back, but it needs to be consistent, as an example. And obviously now we've got a stronger bench. Obviously, we can now compete, obviously, for more titles. And I think that is why they spent the amount of money that they did. So it's going to be, okay, what team do you play in the Premier League? What team are you going to play in the Cup? What team are you going to play in the UEFA? So I don't think we've made the fit right yet of who's actually going to be our right back for 10 games. I don't think it's working yet. And I think that is why we are struggling because it's still this ping pong type of vibes. Our passes are still, for me, like I said, we're still not getting the basics right. And I think once we get the basics, then it's fire. But for now, it's still that who do I put here? The same with the substitution with the subs. It's still not. The subs is also not a good call, either too late or too early. It's the Chiesa situation, and then obviously we play on in the week. Obviously picked up a little bit of a nickel, but I can see where we want to go versus where we are currently now after 6 games, after playing 2 games UEFA as well.
Yeah, we're just going to spend a little more time on Liverpool, obviously, while we have you on the show. We'll spend a little more time on the club. And a lot of things I agree with, and I think it's very similar for United, Arsenal to some degree as well, just betting in those new players. And for some reason, I feel like football in the last couple of years, everyone just talks about system. And there are clubs in the Premier League, which we'll talk about a bit later, where they don't worry about the system. They just make it work with the players they have. You think about Crystal Palace, you think about some of these teams where they don't have the luxury of sticking to a system. And I think what I always like about Slot, and I say this almost every week, but I like his man management and his in-game management. Uh, that's what I'm talking about, where he changes things very quickly. He's not stuck. If something's not working, he'll make a change at halftime. He'll move players around, which I quite like. And with all the new players he has, they all come with their own style. And if he's gonna coach them, his influence as a coach will take time. So, for example, with Florian Wirtz, obviously hasn't delivered yet. The high price tag, my personal opinion is that he'll never live up to the price tag, but he could be serviceable in a different way. But they have to find the spot that works for him because all the positions he's played so far doesn't work for him. It reminds me a lot of Jack Grealish going to City, where at Villa, everything went through Grealish, and we're seeing it at Everton. The same with Leverkusen. He was the center of everything, and everything went through him. Now he's coming to a team where he's not the best player anymore. It's actually nice to not be the best because you can defer to so many other people, but you have to figure out how to play with each other. So, which positions does Wirtz take up? Which positions do Frimpong take? Because Frimpong's different to Trent, right? So, there's a lot of changes that have to be made. And I think, like Candice said, also, it's just giving someone that consistency. So, I personally would like to see Bradley in there for a stretch, 4 or 5 games on the bounce, being told, listen, you're going to be our right back. You're going to play 5 games in a row, and we'll use Frimpong off the bench. He'll play right wing, whatever the case is. But whoever they choose, it could go the other way. It could be Frimpong. And just give the person the opportunity to develop that chemistry with whoever else is playing there. So I think if you look at United, Mubin, to bring you back in there, United have a similar situation. Obviously, we're not going to talk much about the system issue, but bedding in new players, right? Guys are playing with each other for the first time. Does the player like the ball to feet? Does he like it over the top, and so on? How are you finding it, with regards to this whole system thing, since your club is the one that's bringing this word into the media all the time? Do you think it needs more time? Do players need to be more flexible? What's your take on the whole thing?
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, I'm not in favor of the system. I think I read the stat the other day where we've played 35 games under Amorim, under the system, and managed 32 points. So, I mean, that's practically a full season, and that's relegation form. So it's frustrating for me. I understand he wants to play the system. I understand he wants to blood the system to the players, which is all fair and well. But the issue I have is, and I mean, I've mentioned this to some of the guys, is that, when you're down to 1 or 1-0 and there's 10 minutes left, you've got to change it up. I mean, if you got to throw in another striker, throw in another winger, change your formation to, a 4-3-3, or, I don't know, whatever, 4-4-2, whatever the case is, to adapt to the game situation, to get the equalizer, to maybe even get a winner, then so be it. You cannot be hard-arsed, sorry for my language, and continue with a formation that's not scoring goals, that's not getting us any points.
Yeah,
I don't know, it's beyond me. I don't know what further to say, but I mean that's my take on it. I know there's plenty of managers that obviously when they're down a goal or they want to get a draw, even gamble and go and get a winner, they change their formation with the players that they have on the bench.
Yeah, and I think that's what we see with Liverpool, right? If I go back to last season, Slot made really good substitutions at critical times. Obviously you got to know his squad quite well, and things worked out well with the success they had. This season a bit different. You have to learn the personalities of the players, who to throw on when, and so on. But I think just to put a bow on everything for Liverpool, because they won the league last season, you you can, as a fan, probably have a bit more patience with him now, because you got your new signings, you got Isak, you got Ekatike, you've got these guys that you're gonna give them a long rope, I guess, to figure everything out. And I mean, with all we discussing, Liverpool's still top of the log, so they find ways to win. And I know there's always this discussion about, is it the championship mentality? Are they lucky? Or is the Slottage time, taking over from Fergie time? But at the end of the day, I firmly believe that when you win and you know how to win, you will always find ways to win, and that's what Liverpool have in their favor. You can spin it a whole lot of different ways, but I firmly believe until another team. Actually, this is the analogy I'm gonna go with, right? You all, I'm sure most of you know about the wrestling situation, right? Whoever has the belt, who's the world champ, and currently
Yeah.
Liverpool have the belt. No matter what happens, they have the belt, and someone has to go take it. So there's no point we sit here and say they lucky or whatever. Yeah, you make your own luck. It's written for you, and if your luck's gonna run out, it's because someone's gonna come take that belt from you. So yeah, I think with Liverpool, just want to get some score predictions. Obviously, Austen, thank you for being there for a bit, popping in. I know you would have probably been more available yesterday, but thanks for all the Chelsea um, opinions and discussion that you gave us. You gave a score of 1-1. I'm just gonna go around here and get score predictions. Jason, you kick us off.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Liverpool 2-1. I think they'll have too much.
Okay, Mubin.
Pains me to say Liverpool 2-0.
That was mine. That was mine. That was mine. That was mine.
You, Candice?
Yeah, that was mine also. 2-0 to
2-0.
Liverpool.
No.
Yeah.
Was
And,
there something that was
yeah.
sent in a group chat, Candice? Because now the Brown
looks
Brown
like
is also giving a 2-0. Is Mubin also in that
I
Liverpool
think
group?
so.
Just confirm there, because he's giving the group predictions here.
he's undercover. But I see AF wants to be different. I'm
I think
I'm
AF just
actually
wants Austen back on the show, man. So now he's just trying to
Yeah.
pander.
I'm gonna go a high scoring draw. So I'm gonna go 2-2. I think there'll be some goals in it. So let's see. Looking forward to an exciting game. Ramiz, I do see your comment about will Arsenal beat them with their own belt. I think the way things are going, we actually gonna need Triple H to write a script for us that allows us to win, because at the rate we going, we're always gonna be what's this guy's name? CM Punk. We get close, but we never get over the line because they're always bringing someone else back. And I think that's exhausted all my knowledge of WWE at the moment. So I hope I don't offend any fans out there. Okay, Mubin, we got your depressing opinion of Man United and their situation. But I want to hear from Candice, the Liverpool fan. And let's just be honest here, man. Let's not be diplomatic or anything. I want you to tell me how much you're enjoying the situation that you see at your traditional rivals.
Not even. Like, I've got a lot of Man United fan base growing up, but obviously nobody in our household is Man United. Thank God. I've got my brother that's a gunner, and
Otherwise, you have to
then
scoop
my
them.
niece is Liverpool. Because that would have been bad. But it's interesting to see because, like I said, with the Arsenal and United game now, I think United had Arsenal's number in that game. So United is that team. They can come to Anfield and win. So they're very unpredictable, and you just never know. When they get it right, they get it right. But it's not consistency. So I think also when they're getting gay, I think they can, but it's always that but. So I don't underestimate United. I think we've got them the 19th of October. It's also not going to be an easy game. It's just obviously the hype. It's United, it's Liverpool. But I think also just not really the confidence. Obviously, we dodged a bullet. Obviously, we did interview for the Liverpool position as coach, so we dodged a bullet there, thank goodness. But I think the morale in the team, like Bruno, obviously, I still feel he is still a leader. I mean, he's been there for so long as well. I mean, he is playing like he is for me out of maybe the entire team. He's still consistent in that team. Thank goodness he stayed. But I don't feel much sympathy because Liverpool was there. So, they I could say maybe it's gonna take we were there, I was there. So I don't take, let's say, enjoyment of it, but they
You
also
can
need to
say
make.
you take enjoyment, Candice. Nobody in your family is gonna hate you. You don't have United
No,
fans
I
in your
don't think
family.
it is. I don't think it is that. It's just obviously sad to see this amazing team in Europe that where it all went horribly wrong. So I think that for me, it's weird to see. I thought that with the coaches that they had, that they'll still at least compete for trophies, as an example, but they're not there yet. It's going to take a build. I don't know. Is it again changing a new coach? Is it buying players? Is it? I don't know what the solve is, but I don't think that they're going to be in the position where they were last season. I think they'll probably maybe do top 8, top 10. But I think, yeah, it's going to be interesting times. But like I said, United is that team that you don't know who is going to show up on the day. They've proved it against, I think, that Arsenal game could have gone either way. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what the next few weeks holds for United.
Yeah,
I
and
just
some
want to come
points
in
there
there.
too. Okay, go for
Sorry.
it. Go for it.
I mean, Ziyaad knows my brother is a dire Liverpool supporter, and again, like when I have to speak about Liverpool or the good things about Liverpool, it really pains my heart because they are obviously our our traditional rival, as they have to say. But like my brother made a valid point when we were chatting. He said even Liverpool went through this, but at their worst, I think they finished eighth. Was their lowest finish. We literally sitting a couple of spots above relegation last season. Okay, the season had just started, so that comparison really, like, it actually struck me when I didn't even look at it in that way. So I think we actually worse off, and in terms we have won some cups. I mean, we won a Europa under Mourinho. Ten Hag has won a FA Cup. Solskjaer has won a FA Cup, if I'm not mistaken. He's won a couple of trophies, a Carabao Cup, something in between. So we have, but that just shows that again it ties into what you said earlier, is that the results driven mentality of, I don't want to call it this generation, but just probably an era where, if you look back maybe 10, 12 seasons ago, winning an FA Cup and not winning a league as a big club would be seen as an okay season, and you're still finishing sort of in the top four. Whereas if you do that now, it's just not good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, so with what both of you have said, I think what I'm worried about, if I was a United fan and I'm not, is just a constant cycle of changing managers. It's frustrating because I don't see any solution. You sack the guy, and then the new guy comes. You must buy all the new guys players, and it's a cycle that United have been stuck in. And you kind of, as a club, probably need to choose a guy and just back him 100%,
Yeah.
and try and give him as much as you can. But you have to choose the right guy, and I think that's where it's going wrong because the players
But
haven't helped. I mean, you
it's
see
just not going
players.
wrong on a managerial level. It's going wrong at an executive level
Yeah,
because
yeah, we're getting
you
there. I'm
know,
working my way
yeah.
up all the years.
The tears as in coming out of Mubin's eyes, or the tears as in a
Yeah, I
hierarchy?
know. Unintended, bruh. You know me, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, right, the players haven't helped because everyone wants to get rid of this bomb squad, get rid of these players, then they go play better somewhere else. I mean, Rashford went to Barca. He he was late and everyone was like, see, he's a problem. But the manager disciplined him and he still got the assist in the game. He came back the next week and did it again. So it's also the players have to be held accountable. I think that's the right word. And then we have a comment from Mr. L. Thanks for joining us here. Let me just pop it on the screen. And then you have the ownership issue where it's like you said, it comes from the top down, executives making poor decisions, and it filters through the club. You have to change everything, and there has to be a standard, and I think that's the biggest thing. Get standards back in, and the players, will have to rise to it. But I think I've exhausted my United quota for the day. Jason, I want to ask if you have anything to add, but I know you're getting married soon, and there's a United fan on the other side of it, so I don't want to get in the way of that. So we'll keep the peace, and you can keep your comments internalized for now. Moving on to some of the other teams that I just wanted to touch on with the Premier League. There's been a lot of interesting teams and a lot of interesting talking points and so on. But where I want to start first is with Granit Xhaka's Sunderland. They've been phenomenal this season. Actually, I only realized now I think they're playing United this weekend, which wasn't on purpose, so I brought that up. But they've actually most points for a promoted team in 10 years. So at this point in the season, it's the first time in 10 years that a team coming up from the championship has gotten 11 points in 6 games. So Jason, since it's Granit Xhaka, you can speak to this, but what has your take been on Sunderland so far this season?
I think, firstly, it's been so refreshing to see a championship team come up and actually be able to compete from the offset and actually maintain it. I mean, it's been 6 games and everybody talks about it being early days, but there's a foundation there that can be built on. They've signed some good players, and questions were asked at the beginning when they signed so many players, and they had a very similar window to Fulham a few seasons back, where they had about 100 mil spent and then they went up and came down immediately. But there's definitely a feel-good factor about Sunderland at the moment, and I think they're playing with a fearlessness and a sort of confidence that they believe that they should be there, and I think that's the most important thing. They look a lot better than what I expected, and yeah, man, I think it's that mechanism that's in the middle there. Granit Xhaka is this whole arc that is come about. It's really refreshing to see. Really exciting, and hopefully it can continue.
Yeah, no, I'm quite impressed by it, and I think at the beginning of the season I said this is actually going to be the season where 1 or 2 of the promoted teams are going to stay up. I can't remember if I picked Sunderland, but I did say that 2 of the 3 would stay up, or at least more. I'm hoping for. I definitely got Brentford horribly wrong. I thought they'd struggle, but their manager has been impressive. And we were talking earlier about managers just figuring out their players. Keith Andrews has kind of figured out who to put where and to get results. He's used his new signings well. He's played a bit defensive in some cases, but he's grinding out points, and that's what you need. So I've been very impressed with Brentford. That's my one pick or prediction from the preseason that I got terribly wrong, because I thought losing your manager and then losing those players they lost the spine of their team. Norgard, Mbuemo, Whistle. I don't think Whistle's played for Newcastle yet, but it was tough. But I've been very impressed, and I watched them play the weekend, and I thought they were really good, especially out wide. I can't remember what the guy's name was, the fast winger. Is it Otara or something like that? But he was just
at
really
Bournemouth
good.
last season.
Bournemouth or Brighton or something. Yeah. So I've been very impressed with them.
It was Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. Okay. Candice, for you, is there any team in the league that has surprised you in a positive way?
I'm looking at it. Probably Arsenal. Arsenal. I feel it's a bit. I would say, but I mean, they're ticking all the boxes at the right time. So people say, oh, they're always finishing second. I'm very realistic. I can see now that they probably. I thought City would be, but I think I'm more worried about Arsenal. Crystal Palace. I don't think they'll play the way they did against another team, the way they did with us. It was just not going to. I don't think that. Not saying it's 1-2, but I just think they had our number as an example, and I don't think they're going to play like that against Arsenal. As an example, they obviously just went for it, but I think Arsenal has really surprised me with their defense, especially. Obviously, I think just like us, they've only lost 1 game, and obviously it was against us. but I think they rethink the way they want to play. I can see defensively they're ticking off all the boxes quite early into the season compared to the other teams. Probably the one thing that I am disappointed in is probably City. But then again, they also might just take also a few games to get into it. But definitely Arsenal is making me a bit nervous at all the teams. I'm talking about teams that's competing with time. Yeah.
On
Let's
behalf
put it that
of
way.
North London, we appreciate you and your
Lovely
kind
words.
words for our team.
Almost
You don't
had me
normally
there
get such things. I mean,
in
I'm
that
speechless.
first thing. Arsenal surprising me, really like took me aback. But then she motivated it so nicely. I'll add you to the Arsenal group as well. You, Mopin.
No. Now my Liverpool team, I can see my phone already going bzzz with that comment. So no.
Yeah, they're
even
gonna
give
hunt
them
you down,
flowers.
but
That's due. That's due.
a good
I will give them flowers. That's due.
thank you. Much appreciated. We I think with Man City also make a good point. They have been a bit disappointing, but they also got so many new players, and I've also noticed they're playing a bit differently. So with Pep changing his style, it's not that easy. But I mean, again, I have no sympathy for all these guys, especially when you spend a lot of money. But what I have been impressed with, speaking of City, I think Haaland went up a level. I don't know where he found this level and what button he pressed, but this man, I think it's because he got a girl now or something. He gave an interview
No, but remember he
about
played. He played. I think it's also that he loosened his bun. So I think that is also
there
probably,
the
I
bun.
think it's the loosening of the bun that also has,
Because this man, he gets 2 touches, 2 goals. He's like clinical to another level. But he's been really impressive. The team has to catch up to him. Otherwise, I think you might start hearing whispers that he'd want to move on. Mubin, any team that has impressed you from outside the usual suspects?
Yeah, obviously, like I said, seeing Sunderland where they are right now has obviously been refreshing for the league, and been quite impressed so far with consistency of Newcastle. I love the way they started that game against Liverpool. Just unfortunate with Gordon getting that red card. I think that obviously changed the result of that game. And then I mean Arsenal. I don't want Liverpool to win the league. Sorry, Candice, man. So I think Arsenal started. I know you said bar the big guys, but I think they started quite well. I just think that Arteta just needs to get a bit of a more of a killing instinct within himself. And I think that if he gets at that, I think that will be the difference between winning the league this season, maybe just missing out. Actually, AFS said Palace. Palace also started well, considering also that they've lost some key players in, for example, Eze to Arsenal. So that's my take.
Thank you for that. Arteta, he's an interesting cat, but we speak about him enough, so we won't go too much into him. But Palace have been really good, and the interesting part there, obviously, they lose good players all the time, but the manager finds a way to get results. And you mentioned bogey teams, Candice. Palace have had Liverpool's number in the past couple of games, and it just shows when you win once and you know the feeling, you're then confident you can do it again, right? And speaking of bogey teams, Jason Ronnie, Arsenal have their bogey team this weekend called West Ham United. And again, we got a new manager. So we don't know if they're going to actually get a new manager bounce. Because Forest didn't get any bounce with Ange. But I feel Nuno is someone who knows how to get the result against the Gunners. So how are you feeling about Arsenal West Ham? And is Nuno the man for the job?
I think I'm feeling more confident than I felt in previous years. West Ham is weird because when we go away to them, we can score buckets of goals. But when they come here, then we freeze up and suddenly we forget how to play. I think last season we lost, right? I think it was a Jared Bowen.
I think the last 2 seasons we lost at home to them.
Yeah, and what's worse about, I think, 2 seasons ago is I was trying to get tickets to the game because I was in the UK that time, so it was me that caused them to lose. So now I actually don't watch them when they play against West Ham because I'm the bad luck. But yeah, I'm not sure if Nuno's the guy, and it's not so much about Nuno, but more just about West Ham. I think they're also going through a bit of a weird thing with who they've signed and how they've strengthened, and I'm not sure if there's real buy-in from the owners anymore. So it just seems like okay, we'll just try and keep it profitable, just keeping it above floor. But yeah, maybe Nuno can turn it around. You obviously can't win the league in the first 6 games, but you can set yourself up for a very hard season if you don't do well in this opening. And West Ham haven't done themselves any favors. But I think Nuno's track record proves maybe that he has something in it. But yeah, for the game specifically, I think we should win. It's a Saturday game before the guys go. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I think with Nuno, I quite like him. I think he's a really good manager. And like I told you guys, as soon as the news came that he lost his job at Forest, I said whichever opening comes first, he's gonna be the name on the list. And I think we all said West Ham were probably gonna fire Potter first. And then Nuno was in there. It's almost like he moved to West Ham already and was just waiting for the announcement that Potter's out. And he's what I like about him, and it's what I was talking about earlier, was standards, right? He's coming to West Ham and he's like, look, I don't like Ward-Prowse. I don't care. He's out. And he's not going to fit the way I want to play or whatever. And he just makes a decision straight up. And there's no doubt, man. And I feel like, sorry to bring you back in here, Mubin, but when I watch United and I see what Amorim is doing on the side, right? Obviously, my background is coaching, so I'm looking at this and the body language and stuff. It's just weird for me. He can't watch his team take a penalty. His head is always down. He looks like he's in despair, and I'm like, yo, how am I gonna play for this guy, man? You know what I mean? Then I look at Eddie Howe at Newcastle, and I look at Slot and these guys, and the players are playing for their manager, right? You have disagreements. You saw Gay and Glasner had a bit of a whatever you want to call that, altercation, or he ignored him, whatever the case was. But Gay is the club captain. He still came back the next week and just carries on. So, like that's the thing where I see like a guy like Nuno is very strong, as opposed to some of the other managers out there. Do you also feel that when you see your manager looking away, Bruno's gonna kick miss or?
Well, you're posing that question to me.
Yes. You're trying to block it away.
Yeah.
You can take a mulligan on this one.
You obviously you always have faith in someone like Bruno, but my issue with Bruno is just his body language a lot of the time. I don't think someone that's that animated in a negative way should even be captain. I'm not in any way. He's a talented player, great player. I mean, if it wasn't for him last season, we probably would have gotten relegated. But I don't think he's captain material. But in terms of just you can't have a manager that does things like that, particularly not wanting to watch your player take a penalty, your head is down, because we sport the majority of us. I'm not sure if Candice plays any sport, but you feed off things like that from your coach, from your manager, from a senior guy. And that obviously inevitably carries out onto the pitch, carries out into your performance. And it's weird, like you say, it's a weird thing to have to digest.
Yeah, it's a tough watch. I won't lie. But again, interesting. A couple of things we're forgetting, or no one mentioned Bournemouth. I think they've been fantastic this season. It's their best start to the Premier League in their history so far. And if they do win this week, they're going to be flirting with the Champions League places, which is very interesting. Again, another good manager in Iraola, and he lost his whole back line. Phenomenal. I still can't believe a guy can lose his entire back line and still find a way to get results. So they've been really good. So flowers to them. And I just want to I know we've beat Newcastle, so I can say this a bit with a bit more confidence. But that Walter Mada has something about him. I quite like how he gets about the field. He's not shy to get into a bit of a wrestling match or get into the physical stuff. People think he can only header, but the funny thing is, at Stuttgart last year, he only scored one header out of all his goals. And we saw in the Champions League, I mean, nobody here probably watched that game, but maybe saw a bit of highlights. But he's pretty good with the ball at his feet. He's not
Yeah.
bad. So
No,
I've been
it's
very impressed with him. And
yeah.
it's very difficult to take over from Isak, and he's far from doing that. But I think Newcastle found a good player that could actually be up for the battle that they're in. And I think he suits the city because those fans love a guy like that who's up for a scrap, who's not
Yeah.
going to take anything, from the opposition. And I was a bit disappointed when I saw the comments from Bayern about calling Newcastle idiots for paying that much for him. If that's the opinion, then there are a lot of idiots around the world because the transfer fees that players go for, it's insane. So I mean, at the end of the day, I always say this, right? Market dynamics. If someone's willing to pay that price for you, that means they value you at that price. So you can't blame the player, and you can't call people idiots. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, you just have to go perform. So I thought he responded well to that criticism that he got. So I'm watching him. I think he's going to be a surprise star for the season. 6'6". I don't know if that's taller than Andy Carroll, but he's an interesting player. Rami, some comments here. Let me see. AF says bring back Van Gaal rule. You miss a penalty, you go to the back of the line. That is the type of thing they need at United. Yes, the type of stuff that could make things interesting. Ramis, they feed off that, correct? But again, this is actually a really good point, and I think it's about the manager getting buy-in. You have to look at your group, and
Yeah.
if you're giving instructions and nobody's listening, change your message or change how you're delivering the message, right?
Yeah.
So that for me is a big thing as a manager. And once you lose a dressing room, it's over. There's no going back. So it is quite tough. But yeah, one to watch. Candice, I saw you nodding when Mubin said, playing sports. So tell us a bit about your sporting pedigree.
Oh gosh, I used to run, so obviously I'm still running. But I mean, during varsity, I played cricket, I played soccer, I played netball, dipped into a bit of hockey, did a bit of squash. So I was like, that all rounder. And obviously with work now, I'm unable to play for clubs and stuff, but I still continue to run. And obviously enjoy football. I think
Correct.
football, cricket, rugby in that particular order. Yeah.
Yeah, lekker.
Nice.
Yeah. Any tips for in terms of running for Jason? He started running recently.
Oh, nice. Oh, no,
He ran
nice.
his
Just
first
go for it.
5K or something.
Wow, fantastic. And how do you feel?
But he
No,
ran with the
good.
cameraman next to him.
Yeah. Everything is about content. No, it was good. Kandan was a very nice one. But hopefully, if anybody listening has a connection with the Two Oceans entry, please put it in the comment
Oh,
below.
wow.
We can take it offline. I'm desperate
Oh, yeah,
need
but I need to.
for a half marathon entry next year. But yeah,
Yo, I have
Congratulations.
so much to say about that, but I'm gonna nip it. My mic's my fault against me there. I don't know what
yeah,
you got
because maybe
going
you
on me,
shouldn't say.
Jason. Yeah.
Maybe you
Yeah, I
shouldn't
know,
say.
I know. That's right. Diane Lekker throwing in a Lekker comment there, running
Yo,
from Vert. My bro, I don't think anyone at Liverpool's
telling you
running
this-
from Vert.
Maybe it's running with Verts, because Verts has
I
been
think so.
covering a
I
lot.
think so.
Yeah, it's just more keeping fit. That guy.
Yeah, now Vert is interesting. We will have to see how he goes. Um, yeah, that price tag is heavy for a lot of players. It's not easy, and then when you put yourself in a system where it doesn't suit you, even worse. But like I said, the theme for today is no sympathy. Hashtag no sympathy.
No.
So that's my deal with it. Jason, you're
At the end
looking
of the day,
tired
the
according
result
to
has to be
Ramis.
taken.
Yeah, I think it's a good point Diane made there. All the players just need to adjust. And I think just to bring it back to our club there, Jason, it's the same thing with Gyökeres. I think the goals will come. It's just adjusting to the players around you. And like I was telling you guys earlier, it's where you want the ball, man. As a striker, do you want it with your back towards goal? Do you want to run onto it? Do you like it on your left, on your right, whatever the case is? And once guys figure that out, I think they'll do okay. It's just, does the club have the patience? Do the fans have the patience? So that's what we're gonna have to see. But we're reaching the end of our episode. So again, just to thank Austen for being here earlier to represent Chelsea. Obviously, the big game coming up this weekend, Chelsea Liverpool. We all gave our predictions. Going to be a big one going into the international break, which is so painful. I don't know. Every time we build momentum, then we have an international break, and it's no way. But as a South African, the international break is exciting for us because we were looking good. And then suddenly we thought, how can we make this harder? Okay, let's play a suspended player, get dock points, but then still be in with a chance to qualify.
Yeah.
So, we have to watch Bafana and hope they don't mess that up. It's just how we do things, man. Especially Bafana, we want to make it hard, Let's not even talk about cricket and how difficult we make that from time to time. But AF is blocking me from he wants to bring up what's that board with the stoppage time, no? How much minutes left? So question for Candice, what's the meaning of the flu X? What is it?
Yes, flux. So flux is like a flux of comments and an influx. So that is basically where I decided to go with the name. An influx of goals, an influx of defense, an influx of balls. So that is kind of where the flux came from.
And an influx of subscriptions, hopefully, and an influx of likes on this video and streams. And this is quite. We got it. Now, interesting. I like it. So a lot coming up, a lot to look forward to over the weekend. Jason, are you okay? You got your eye on any other sport, while I have you as we wrap up here? There is some golf this weekend. I saw there's a Sandersons, there's a Alfred Daniel Links.
Yeah, that's correct.
It's going to be a bit of a buzzkill after that epic Ryder Cup, but...
So it's probably just a little bit of golf. I see some of the guys that were in the Ryder Cup were actually playing this week in... I don't know where the Alfred Daniels, probably Ireland or something like that. But,
the home of golf, mate.
Scotland then. Sorry, that's my bad. I was going to say Pretoria, but that's rugby. I think it's going to be... rugby. It's probably just going to be the footy this week. I think Saturday sets up nicely. Liverpool ending the night off, but there's Arsenal play before that. United play at the same time. Spurs as well. And there's also rugby as well. So there's a lot to keep me busy. And if it's not that, then there's still wedding planning to do. So that's fine.
Keep going. Mubin. Jason mentioned Saturday and all the sport that's coming on. I'm assuming you can't watch it because the cricket season is starting.
Not for another 2 weeks officially, so I'm still in for this weekend, but then our first game actually starts next week, so
and speaking of some new signings, I heard your team has been quite active in the transfer market, signing a big player from the Red Bull organization. Good luck this season. I'm sure you can't wait for it to come because I'm sure you'd rather be batting and hitting sixes than watching Bruno kick penalties straight at the goalkeeper. Candice, for you, anything coming up, anything interesting? And as our OG AF always says, where can the people find you to engage with you and anything you want to plug or put out there into the stream?
Not really, because usually I'm on Twitter. So obviously, Candy May Step 25, that's on Twitter, and then obviously just Candy87 on Instagram. So and obviously most of my feed is football, not only Liverpool, but obviously English Premier League is obviously my fave, but I'm also a Real Madrid side eye, low key Real
There
Madrid
we go. I was gonna
supporter.
ask that now.
Low key, low key. I have to keep it low because obviously, somebody that's 66 obviously went there. So yeah, low key, Real Madrid, and then locally, obviously Cape Town City. I also like a bit of
Nice.
cricket, so I will definitely be at the T20 games coming up for the season. So yeah, that's kind of where you'll find me this sports season in Cape Town, watching live sport, obviously.
Lekker, man. It
Lovely.
was fantastic to have you. We had lots of
Thank
fun.
you
There
so
was
much for the
some
invite.
good banter, good discussion, good insight. So I enjoyed it. Again, apologies from me for getting everyone back here 24 hours later. And then also with my technical difficulties, I don't know how much data I have left, but it was worth it. It was fun. So yeah, over and out. That's us from Sportycast. Remember to check us out online. We're on all the platforms. I'm posting about all the sport. We got NFL coverage. We got NBA starting in 2 weeks. I saw AF post the Curry brothers are going to play together, which is great. The baseball playoffs have started, so I've got that buzzing again. There's some cricket happening, so there's a lot going on. So keep in touch, engage with us on the socials. You know, it's a lot of fun, and yeah, there's a lot of sports. So enjoy the weekend coming up. Hope your team gets results. If your team is united, I hope you lose. And on that note, over and out.
Thank you.